Hi, Collective. Welcome to Intuitive Goddess Tarot 911. I'm Jenny. Welcome in or welcome back. I don't know if you can hear my nasal tone in my voice, but it is the reason why I have not been on. I have been basically awake most nights, hacking my brains out and sleeping a lot during the day. So it's just been pretty miserable, and there's some other stuff going on. So I have just been trying to do some deep reflection. So I pulled some cards for today, and I feel like this is a really important message for somebody. So I was channeling some messages, so I'll tell you what those are first of all. And then I pulled some cards ahead of time just because I know it can be time consuming to go through and find everything. So I got, if you're new here, these readings are timeless, and if it resonates, great, but if it doesn't, then just let it go. So I hope you guys are doing amazing. So let's get down to it, the channeled messages that I got. So I got, they can't keep your name out of their mouth. Maybe you tricked yourself. Doing things in the reverse. You don't have to lift a finger. Karma is coming. You removed yourself to try to help them. And then I think I've seen this film before, but I didn't like the ending. And that is from the Taylor Swift song Exile. That could be for somebody, so go listen to that if you're not sure what the song is about. Basically, it's, like there's a breakup, and this person is like, you're not my homeland anymore, and you're not my problem anymore, basically. So there's a lot going on in that song. So if you don't know the song and you wish to, go and listen to it, because it could be for somebody. So again, I have my letters, so let's get some letters out for you guys, and I apologize if I have to cough in the middle of this. So we got W, Z, O, U, E, and Y. Let's get one more. F. You could be telling somebody to F you. I don't know. All right. Let's get some charms, and then we'll get into this. I'll tell you what all this business is about here, because it's a lot. We got a t-shirt with a heart on it that looks like Scrubs to me. A snowflake, a key, a unicorn. You could be a unicorn. A black 4-leaf clover, a crescent moon. That's been coming out a ton lately. And a 4-leaf clover with a missing clover on one. So maybe you thought you had a 4-leaf clover and you got fooled. And then a crescent moon with an angel wing and a crown. And we got one more. I know I keep saying that. And a high-heeled shoe. Okay. So let me tell you what I have so far. So we got this card. I'm not even sure how to say it. I think it's Gnosis. I think the G is silent. So I'll show you that. And the meaning of the card is inner knowing, contemplating the mystery, and unanswerable questions. So there may be some questions that you don't have the answer to, and you're not meant to know the answer to. They are just supposed to be lingering out in the ether somewhere. That's for somebody. And then we got the failure fight. So something you've been fighting for, the thing that you don't have answers to questions about. I wrote down the cost and benefits of failure. Redefining plans. Your abundance is redefined by your resiliency. So I guess this is just saying that you don't have to know all the answers. You don't have to obviously whatever you were fighting for was a failure. You're walking away. So, I mean, is it really necessary for you to dig and dwell into it? Because it's really not going to benefit you and it's not going to change the situation. So the next one is the river. These are all really beautiful cards. And the river, it says the stream, the flow, the current, acceptance, grace, and reflection. So maybe this fight that you gave up on, this thing that you weren't going to participate in anymore, this person who wasn't your homeland anymore, you are moving forward, going with the flow, kind of, you know, not fighting the current. And then you got the creatrix fight. So I had no idea what this meant. So basically it says, create now. What is inside of you is meant to come out. Taking a risk, let the story happen to you. So that was interesting. I think that it's just about, you know, you following your highest guidance, whatever spirit is sending you a message, you know, basically this, you know, this is great. This is what you should be doing. Just going with the flow. And creating something can help you to transmute any negative energy you're feeling. I know when I paint, I can paint for hours and the world just goes by and I don't think about anything. I think about my processes, the brush strokes, how I'm going to add something. Do I need to use my knife? So maybe that's for somebody. Maybe you need to get lost in the dream of what you're creating, which is beautiful, really. And then the desert. So this is an interesting card. It looks like someone is drowning in the desert. So basically, drought, wasteland, badlands, surreal, strange, unexpected visions, silence, embracing discomfort. So I read the whole thing and it basically said, like, we all are going to eventually travel into the desert, right? Maybe not literally, but metaphorically. So the desert's dry, you're hungry, you don't want to be there. You'd rather be at Taco Bell. I don't know, maybe that's for somebody. And, you know, it's an uncomfortable feeling. So I feel like the message is, it's important to sit with those uncomfortable feelings that you're having. It's part of your process. So maybe you can transmute some of those uncomfortable feelings with your artwork. And then under that, we got the sovereign fight. These are beautiful cards too. So this one says, belonging to oneself, hard to control, having boundaries and speaking from a place of power. Claim your throne. So maybe after realizing, so you went through this metaphorical desert, it was dry, you felt like you were, you know, gonna pass out, and then you saw that there was a river at the end of the desert, and you were like, hey, wow, that was really, really difficult. But I got through it and I'm here and I survived. So I think that's a message for somebody. And then we got the Pilgrim. And interesting enough, this was on the bottom of the deck. So the Pilgrim, it says the wanderer, the traveler, learns, grows, adapts, studies. The heart belongs in motion. Inner journey, having courage. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to actually go on a physical journey. But you having a, I don't want to say, spiritual growth spurt just popped in my head. So maybe you are having some kind of enlightenment, which is good. And, you know, this is going to allow you to adapt, and maybe you're going to study this more if it's something you're interested in. So underneath that was the stillness fight. So the stillness fight, it says intentional stillness is a superpower. Create a sanctuary in your home. So maybe, I mean, I feel like all of these are connected, but you being able to be in your power, I think, is one thing. You using your truth as a superpower. You doing this with grace and reflection. And letting those unanswerable questions go. I mean, obviously, this failure fight, it was meant to fail for a reason. And I think it was meant to show you that. And it's interesting because we got the river and the desert next to each other. So I feel like you going with the flow, walking through the metaphorical desert, getting on the other side, being the pilgrim, the spiritual pilgrim, and realizing that, you know, sitting in the discomfort and letting it happen to you is all part of the process. I know that was a lot. I'm sorry. But it's been like in my head for the last few days. So I'm going to put this over here for right now. So we're going to pull a couple of cards from the shamanic deck just to see what else you need to know, because this is really a beautiful message. I mean, it seems like you've gone through so much, whether this was the end of a relationship, whether it was you living in your spirituality, whether it was you having to stick up for yourself at work, whether it was you having to set boundaries with a family member. It doesn't matter. It's however it fits for you. And, you know, I feel like, and I had a friend say this to me once, that sitting in those uncomfortable truths, those places where you don't really want to sit still and look at things for what they really are, it's important to do so, because it's going to help you in your process and help you move forward. So Spirit, what does the collective need to know about the inner knowing and the cost and benefits of failure? Hear the silent drum. The call is quiet. The call is constant. The call is yours. Yes, whatever this was, I feel like you felt like you knew it was coming. Whether you knew it was coming or not, that could be for somebody. But I feel like that's all part of it. And then going with the flow, create now. What does the collective need to know about that? Walking through fire. Courage is not absence of fear, but the will to stand where the heat rises. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying, is transmuting that energy, all that negativity you're feeling, transmuting it into something beautiful, something that you can be proud of. You walked through fire, you know, you didn't leave the kitchen when it was too hot. You stayed there. You stood your ground. You spoke with your power. So that's for somebody. All right. And then what about the drought? You know, feeling those uncomfortable feelings, but belonging to oneself, setting boundaries, and just being hard to control in general. This queen on here looks like she's hard to control. Avalanche. Not all collapse is chaos. Some is divine interruption. Yes, I feel like whatever this was meant. It was written. It needed to happen for you to move on to the next stage of your life, unfortunately. And, you know, I used to look at towers as like super bad things. I was like, I don't want a tower. I don't want it. But, you know, as I've gotten older, I realized that everything in the universe has a purpose. And I know I've said this before, and I just said this to my best friends yesterday, that if you don't make the decision, the divine will make it for you or force you to make it. So maybe that's for somebody. All right. What about this wander, this inner journey, and intentional stillness being a superpower? Before the compass, into the unknown, the quiet trial of intuition, the prayer whispered only to yourself. Yes. So I feel like you almost had an inner knowing about where all this was going to go because you listened to the call. You may have not known exactly what was going to happen, but there was a quiet stillness in your intuition, and that could have been the trigger. So, alrighty, this is a lot. I sat with the energy for probably a half hour trying to get all the messages and just see what was going on here. And I feel like this is a, I would say into 2026 reading. So maybe this is just showing you what you need to know. And it's so funny. I watch a lot of tarot readers too. And over the last few days, because I haven't felt good, so I have been watching tarot because I find it really beneficial to see those messages. And it's funny, I've been watching messages from 8 months ago to up to a year ago, and all the messages have been resonating. So it's whenever you see it is when it's meant for you. And that's why I always say that at the beginning, because it truly is. Okay. So what does the collective need to know about the silent drum? Temperance. So all of this needed to happen so that you could be in your power. Maybe someone was corrupting your energy. And it's funny, you don't even know that someone is corrupting your energy until they're out of your energy. Sorry. So this person in this picture looks very balanced and very happy. So maybe that's for somebody. And then walking through fire, just, this is not supposed to be in here. Music. Maybe music is important. All right. Let's get one more, Spirit. It's very windy here today, so Opie is down there barking. So you got confidence, expansion, growth. Waiting for your ships to come in. And then under avalanche, you got 10 of Swords. So you survived this, whatever this backstabbing, collapse, this failure, you survived this. What else about that? 6 of Cups. So it really could have affected you to the point where you were looking back at things, trying to, I call it solve the world's problems by yourself. And maybe that's why part of the message is you don't need the answers to this. You just know that there was an ending, and the ending is the important part because it happened for you. What else, Spirit? What about this inner compass and this stillness fight? The guidance. Yes. So you basically went on blind faith, listened to the inner knowing, and knew that this was the right call. What else, Spirit? Page of Wands. So you're a free spirit. Maybe whatever the situation was dampening that or stealing your light. 8 of Cups. Moving on, a breakup, walking away, leaving the past behind, abandoning it. And that's all I'm saying about the, you know, the, whatever that is, the gnosis, the inner knowing, those unanswerable questions. We all have them when relationships end, when friendships end. Sometimes it's just important to have them because there's nothing you can do about it. There's, you know, going back and trying to recreate the wheel. Sorry, my hair is going crazy. It's staticky. Is not going to help you. Knight of Coins. So you've gotten grounded. You've been patient, trusting the process. What else, Spirit? 6 of Wands. Yes, and I feel like people can see that you're successful, that you are admired by many, and that, I don't want to say that you won, but maybe you did. 4 of Wands. So this is my wedding card, but I feel like it's just meaning that you are in a stable position at this point, and that you have the support of your community. One last card, Spirit. 10 of Coins. Yes, that you, throughout all this, whatever this is, you are going to be secure. You know, no matter what this person tries to do, try to pillage your village, stomp on your reputation, your person speaks for itself. Who you are, the proof is in the pudding, as they say. So, I mean, they can't, I mean, I guess they could try to stomp on your life and your experience and everything, but I feel like you're not going to let that happen, or it's not going to affect you, because you are going to create that safe space in your home if you haven't already done that. All right, let's get you an advice card and end this. I knew this was going to be like a long one. It's not really super long, but I hope this was helpful to whoever needed this. I feel like I needed this today too, just with what I'm going through right now. And I may talk about that in the future, but I don't feel like it would be beneficial for me to talk about that right now. So, Spirit, what's the advice card for the collective? Hummingbird, miracles. You are the joy bringer. You bless the world with positivity and love. Energy soars on your shining wings. Spread the miracle of happiness. And then the horse. So this is really funny because we are getting out of the year of the snake. And I think I said this on one of my previous readings, but so if you are a person who's been going through a 9-year cycle, it ends July, maybe July is significant. It ends January 26th. So the horse, the year of the horse is what we're going into. So it says, horse freedom. Your heart is pure and free. The greater purpose calls you. You have unlimited reserves of stamina and strength. You follow the wind of change and accomplish your dreams. Yeah, so that's all I'm saying. You are going to follow your intuition, your heart's desire, use the inner knowing, and just know that everything happens for a reason. So whoever you are, I hope this was helpful. It was a lot. So I will likely be on to do another video tomorrow. I have a bunch of stuff I have to do today. So But I hope you guys are amazing. Thank you for all your likes, your shares, your subscribes. The channel is kind of a little stuck right now, but maybe that's because there's stuff going on with me and I'm a little stuck too. So I will manifest to get unstuck. And anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing Tuesday, and I will be seeing you soon. And I love you so much. Take care. Bye bye.